Hey, it's great to see you again. And it was wonderful to see so many of you live yesterday. Thank you so much for being there yesterday. And thanks so much for being with me today. So, welcome to Micro Moments of Wellness. Here we are. I thought I would explain to you, by the way, what the picture is all about in case you're wondering. So, my daughter Liz painted that picture and she calls these individuals sunflower people. So, they have no gender, no name. They have no religion, no race, nothing. They just are. And this particular sunflower person is just enjoying a micro moment of wellness, sitting there, taking in the landscape and taking in the sunset. So that's where the picture came from, in case any of you were wondering. Let's go ahead now and have our arriving practice. So I'll get you to just get comfortable wherever you are, sitting, standing, whatever. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe you're just starting your day, or maybe your day is coming to an end or whatever. But chances are there's been a little bit of stress and a little bit of running around. So we're just going to come to our bodies now. Just arriving into our bodies, taking a couple of deep breaths. And now I'll invite you to take a look at this picture and to imagine that you're actually here, standing in this sand, looking out at the crystal clear blue water, actually imagining what the sand granules would feel like under your feet. The sand would be warm or cool. Imagining what the waves might sound like. What the air would smell like. What the sun on your skin might feel like. And if it feels comfortable, perhaps closing your eyes instead of looking at the picture. Just imagining that you're at this beach. Soaking it all in. Allowing your body to relax. Maybe a little bit more air now. And allowing your eyes to open if you like, or perhaps keeping them closed. So we actually do this for a number of reasons, our arriving practice. And the one that I want to talk to you about today is the difference between the stress response and the relaxation response. So as Dr. Deb Dana states, and I've said this a million times, our nervous system is an either or experience. So what she's talking about is either we are in the stress response or we are in the relaxation response, but we're not ever in both. And so often, whether we're looking at these videos first thing in the morning or in the middle of the day or at night, often we are in the stress response a little bit. And what we want to do is invoke the relaxation response. Now, according to Dr. Herbert Benson, the relaxation response is kind of 4 different things included in it. One is that we take a nice, long, slow, deep breath. We slow our breathing, we make it a little bit deeper. 2 is that we're in a comfortable position, whether that's sitting, standing, or laying. 3 is that we have some silence, some quietness. So not only around us, but also we begin to get a little bit more still inside of us. And the 4th is that we actually relax the muscles, because when we're in a stress response, our muscles are tense, we're breathing quickly, and often it's a very loud place to be in our minds to be in the stress response. So these quick little arriving practices hopefully can help some of us to shift from that stress response into the relaxation response. And today's quick little session is going to talk a little bit about stress. So let's take a look at our quote here. And it's maybe not as inspirational as some of our other quotes. In struggling against anguish, one never produces serenity. The struggle against anguish only produces new forms of anguish. And why I'm saying this is because so often when we are stressed, what we do is stress out about becoming less stressed. And of course, that only causes more anxiousness, that only causes more anguish, and it only causes more stress. So what we want to do is learn some techniques to recognize that we are in these forms of anguish, to recognize that we are feeling anxious, panicked, stressed, depressed, whatever it is, and have a number of different techniques that we can use in just a quick micro moment to help calm our physiological state. So our next quote is a little bit sciencey. Feel free to close your eyes if you want. I'm going to read it out. But I just want to talk about what cortisol does, and then about how important it is for us to reduce our levels of cortisol. And the good news is we have 2 mindfulness practices today, and we'll have an opportunity to practice and see if either one of those work for you. So regarding cortisol, research now correlates chronically elevated cortisol levels with, and see if any of these are something that you're suffering with already, or you know someone else who's suffering with them. Blood sugar problems, fat accumulation, especially around the belly, compromised immune function, infertility, exhaustion, chronic fatigue, bone loss, high triglycerides levels, and heart disease. Ugh. And that's, of course, not even touching what cortisol actually does. There's a list that's way longer, but this is a quote here. But she continues on to say, cortisol reduction through stress management is imperative. And it is, and we can do it, and we can do it really easily. So as we go throughout this entire series, however long it lasts, you'll have an opportunity to practice many different activities and see what works for you. So the first one is a little bit of an experiment, and it might feel a little bit silly. So I encourage you to just give it a try and just see if it works. Now, it's one that you probably wouldn't want to do in front of other people. So this is one that you might want to do in your office when you're alone, as long as you don't have a glass cubicle or at home or whatever it is. And I'll explain why we're doing it or why we did it once it's over. So I'm going to invite you to just kind of check in with your emotional state right now, whatever it is, and to use your hands to show what your emotional state is. And of course, I can't see you, so who cares? So for example, if I was feeling really anxious, I might shake my hands like this. Oh, I feel so anxious. Or if I'm mad, maybe I would do this with my hands and really tense the arms, tense the chest, like to really show this is how I feel. If I was frustrated or agitated, it might be this. This might match how I'm feeling. Or maybe you've had too much sugar, too much caffeine, too much adrenaline. So just using your hands, and I'll stop for a moment. You go ahead, and just use your hands, and even you might have to close your eyes to kind of see if it matches. And when you found something that feels authentic, just kind of letting that settle, still like, yeah, that's how I feel, that's how I feel, okay. Now putting your hands down, taking a nice deep breath. Now I invite you to use your hands to show how you would like your body to feel. So if I wanted to calm down, it might be this. Slowly moving down. Or maybe I would want to just be nice and smooth. Maybe I'd want my hands to just open calmly. So again, eyes open or closed, whatever feels more comfortable. But finding what matches the state you'd like to be at with your hands. And now really feeling that, really connecting to your hands. Remembering to breathe, to relax. Imagining that your physiology is matching with whatever you want your hands to do. Now slowly releasing your hands, maybe putting them on your lap comfortably, eyes closed for a moment or gazing down. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Just seeing how you feel. Just noticing if there was any relief and if you feel better, or maybe you don't, maybe you feel worse. A little bit more air if you like, and allowing your eyes to open. So that was just a quick little experiment there. And again, there's tons of benefits to that quick little exercise. But the one that I really like, previously we talked about how there was a study that came out in 2015 that the number one indicator of current and future well-being is integration between the mind, the heart, and the body. Because so often we don't have that. Our mind wants something, our heart wants something else, our body is going berserk because of what we had for breakfast or we didn't get enough sleep last night. But when we have that integration between all three, or correlation, some doctors call it, when we have that cohesiveness, then we have kind of peace in our lives and an awful lot less stress. So what I like about that hand exercise is that it helps us to become a little bit more integrated, to become a little bit more authentic, because maybe we don't want to admit that we're anxious today or that we're angry about something that happened earlier in the day. And so first of all, we have to think about how we're feeling. And then secondly, we have to get everything to kind of match. And when we focus on, do my hands feel like this or do they feel more like claws? When we're really focusing on what we want our hands to be doing in order to represent how we're feeling, you can see how we become more integrated. So first of all, we connect with ourselves on a really authentic level, perhaps admitting how we feel, and maybe we wouldn't do that otherwise. And then when we go ahead and we show how we want our body to feel, if we are already feeling integrated, it helps our physiology to just connect with what those new hand movements are doing. So sometimes I find that that exercise really works, and no one needs to know that you're doing it. Don't do it when anyone else is around or they'll wonder what's wrong with you. But sometimes I find that I just, okay. Now, the other thing that I really like about this is when we have excess adrenaline, if we have any extra energy that's in our body, when we move like this, we're expelling it, and we're doing it consciously and purposely. So you may have noticed that when you get upset, your hands will start to shake, or you'll start to shake. There's tremors in your body. So that's an unconscious reaction that's helping to bring your body back to homeostasis, helping you to down-regulate so that you're okay. Well, what we're doing with this exercise is we're just forcing that movement. We're getting that excess energy, that stress energy, that depressed energy, that whatever, sad, jealous, competitive energy out so that we can feel a little bit calmer. Okay, the second one that I'm going to show you. So this one is called the Physiological Sigh. And what I like about this one is that you don't have to be hiding in order to do it. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, But you can imagine that if you were with other people, you would just be a little bit more discreet about it. So sighs are really good for us. And again, there's something that a lot of us do unconsciously. And I certainly do, where, even think of you're on vacation, you finally arrived, you throw your suitcase onto the bed. And one of the first things that most people are going to do is, oh. And so what's happening there? Oh, your body is now releasing all of that stress. Again, it's our body's automatic way of trying to bring us back to homeostasis, trying to get us to calm down. So sometimes, people will say, "What's the matter with you?" And you say, "What?" And they say, "Well, you were just sighing." "Oh, did I?" And we don't even realize we did it. Well, that's our body taking over for us, automatically sighing to let go of some of that stress. So we already know that sighing is good for us. And the difference with this one, other than the fact that we're going to do it consciously, is that it actually involves 2 breaths in. So we're going to take a deep breath in and then one more. Just seeing how that felt. And we're going to practice a couple of these. And then that'll be it for our micro moments of wellness today. So what we're doing is expanding the lungs and then taking in a little bit more oxygen. So it oxygenates the body a little bit more, but it also helps for a much deeper release. So let's go ahead and try a couple. Just do them on your own time, because if you rush too much, then you're actually going to cause a little bit of stress for your body. So just nice and slow. So just take a nice deep breath, not so much that your second breath is going to make you feel like passing out, but just as I'm talking, maybe doing a couple more, and really letting the shoulders fall on that sigh, letting the body relax, the chest lets go, the belly softens, really enjoying. And on this next one, why don't we go ahead, and if it feels comfortable for you, allowing your eyes to just softly close or to gaze at something. And just checking in with how you feel when it's done. Okay? So on your own time, nice comfortable breath in. Eyes closed, you're looking down, just breathing normally now. Nice and softly. Allowing the shoulders to relax. Checking in to see how you feel. Let's go ahead and linger in this moment, just for a few breaths. Lingering in anything that feels comfortable for you. Perhaps some heaviness, any softness, relaxation. Feeling your body in your chair or on the bed. Bringing a little bit more air, or perhaps pausing the video here if you'd like to stay in a nice spot if you found one. So what we can do with this sigh is be really private about it. Whether you're at work, you're driving in the car, you're with friends or family, you're in transit, Just little breath in through the nose with a secondary breath. And a nice enjoying of the exhalation on the way out. And then just seeing if that helps to calm your physiology, helps to reduce a little bit of stress. And remembering that these micro moments of wellness, they do add up, they accumulate. The more that we can practice them, the more that we can find them, the more that we can savor them throughout the day, the more that we're depositing into our health account, the more that we're feeding into our parasympathetic nervous system and helping our health to continue to flourish. So your micro moment wellness challenge for today is either doing the hands, if that felt comfortable and you enjoyed that one later on today at some point, or giving that sigh, the physiological sigh, an opportunity to set in. So doing that, even if it's on the way home, if it's in bed before you go to sleep, if it's on your lunch break, if it's in between phone calls or emails. So try it at least once. If you can do it more than that, that's awesome, but at least once. So thanks, everyone. It's so wonderful to have you here. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great day. Okay, bye.